Hello everyone. In this video, I will show you and explain you the full process of designing this advertising poster. So let's go. First of all, I create a document with these specifications. 3700 pixels for width and 4700 pixels for height, with transparent background and resolution must be 300. Before designing, I've created a color palette based on my product's color. So this is my color palette, and I'm going to create background, ground, and lights by these colors. In this way, the colors of my design will be harmonized. I bring them to my document. I use eyedropper tool to select the first color. The shortcut is I, and then I create a solid color. I repeat this work for the second color. But this time I press Ctrl I in the mask layer to make it reverse. Then I select brush tool. The brush is diagonal with flow of 3%. I start brushing in my mask layer. By this work, the rays of light is being created. It looks like that we have light on the upper and right side of our document. And then I change the angle of brush into a horizontal way and start brushing on the lower part. In this way, I create my ground. I create another solid color with the same color again. I press Ctrl I and increase flow up to 15%, and I start brushing the light area. In the next step, I choose the third color in my color palette and create a solid color. I press Ctrl I and decrease the flow to 3%, and I brush again. By several and different layers, your lights will be natural and believable. I repeat the same work for the last color. This is the brightest color. I start brushing the corner because it is close to the light source and it must be brighter than other parts. I create another solid color, the complete white. I press Ctrl I and start brushing a bit. I'm going to make it some lower parts a bit brighter. Now, I want to use a simple technique to enhance visual attraction of my design. I create a black solid color. Then I go to Filter, Noise, and choose Add Noise. Here it is. The distribution should be Gaussian and monochromatic item should be turned on. I choose the amount to about 20%. Then I go to Filter, Blur, and Radial Blur. I choose Zoom with best quality, and I choose the suitable amount. This work gives depth to our design, and the audience focus on the center of our artwork. Finally, I change the mode of the layer to screen. But my background has been affected. It's a problem and become brighter. To prevent this, I go to Adjustment and create Curves Adjustment and make background a bit darker. The problem is solved. In the next step, I bring neon light. I convert it to a smart object and I put it on the depth of background. Then I change the layer mode into screen. But there's a problem. The edge of this layer is very sharp and visible. I create a mask layer and I brush the edges. But my neon light has blue color and it's not harmonized. So I go to color balance adjustment to harmonize it with design's atmosphere. Furthermore, I use selective color adjustment to reduce blue color. Now, in order to make design more natural and believable, I add flares to the background. To remove black areas, I use a simple technique. I create a white solid color under the flares layer. I select flares layer, then I press Ctrl and simultaneously click on its thumbnail. Then I press Ctrl C to copy it and press Ctrl D to deselect it. Then I press Alt and go to the mask layer of solid color. Here I press Ctrl Shift V. Then I click on the eye of the layers. Now I delete flares layer and on the mask layer of solid color I start brushing to add other parts. Okay, now in order to increase visual attraction of light source, I add flares light to my design. I change the layers mode into screen, then I harmonize its colors. Now I want to make ground icy. I bring icy ground image to my artwork. I create a white solid color. I press Ctrl and click on the thumbnail. Then I press Ctrl C to copy and Ctrl D to deselect it. I press Alt and click on the mask layer of solid color. Then I press Ctrl Shift V. Now the black background is removed. I brush on the mask layer to add other areas of design. Now the background is almost ready. I bring soda can. For this I need a can mockup and here it is. I put the sprite image into mockup and take it to my document. Okay, my soda can is ready. I begin correcting its colors. First, I create curves and make it brighter and press Ctrl I, and with white brush I start brushing the right edges. By this work, only the right edge area will be bright because the light is shining onto this part. Then I make the whole object brighter and increase its contrast. Next, I use color balance adjustment to add green, yellow, and red to my object. The object must be warm and attractive. I use exposure to make the right edge brighter. The left side of the soda is a bit darker than normal. I use levels to make it a bit brighter. And furthermore, I use blending options to remove black areas. Then I use some adjustments like color balance and color lookup to increase visual attraction of soda. In the next step, I add water drops to my soda can to make it cool. You know, it's an advertising trick. Then I change its layer mode to soft light. I duplicate it and I remove their dark areas by blending options. Then I add neon light to the edge to make it more attractive. I create mask and remove extra parts and change its color from color balance. Okay, now I bring lemons to my design. By magic wand, I select white background. Then I mask it and then I reverse it by pressing Ctrl I. Now the elements are remained without white background. You see? The selection is accurate. Then I separate each element. I select it and I press Ctrl Shift J. And I bring them to my design. Okay, now two of the lemons are placed on the ground. I delete the white background from the lemon. I use adjustments of curves and levels to make the lemon warmer. By color balance, I add yellow, green and red to my lemon. Then I create lights and shadows of lemons by using curves, levels and exposure. For the shadows under the lemons, I create a new layer under them. I select the last color on the lowest part of lemon and I start brushing. And then I change the mode of the layer into overlay. Now I add lemons around the soda. The lemon in the back of soda, I mask half of it to show that it is really in the back. And with curves and levels and brightness, I harmonize its colors. Then I create hue and saturation adjustment and I select green color. Then I press Ctrl I to reverse it. And with white brush, I start brushing the areas close to the soda. Then by using curves, levels, and exposure, I create shadow of the soda on the lemon. By this work, the shadow is entirely natural. For the lemon in front of the soda, I repeat the same tools. After adding lemons and leaf, it's time to add water splashes around the soda. But it is white background, so to select the splashes, I create a white solid color. I press Ctrl and click on the thumbnail of splashes layer. Then I press Ctrl C to copy and Ctrl D to deselect it. Then I press Alt and click on mask layer of solid color, and then I press Ctrl Shift V. The splashes are copied to its direct place. Then I turn off the eye of upper layer and then I press Ctrl I on the mask layer. Then I start removing the unwanted parts. Furthermore, I add other water splashes to my artwork and change the mode of the layer into screen. In the final step, I want to make a wet ground scene with the reflections on it. For this, I have to duplicate the objects that I want them to be reflected. Here, I choose lemons on the ground and soda can. I duplicate the lemons first. Then I add Puddle map to my artwork. Next, I adjust its size and perspective. Then I press Ctrl and click on Puddle map thumbnail and press Ctrl C to copy and Ctrl D to deselect it. Then I create a mask layer and a reflection layer. I press Alt and click on mask. Then I press Ctrl Shift V to paste Puddle map. And next, I turn off the eye of Puddle map layer. Then by using black brush, I remove unwanted parts. I repeat the same work for the reflection of soda. And finally, in order to make the reflections natural, change the mode of the reflections into soft light. For the visual attraction, I duplicate the lemon, bring it to the front, and I enlarge it, and by Gaussian blur, I make it blurred. In this way, it seems that it is close to the camera. Okay, the design is finished. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, feel free and ask it in the comments. I'll reply as soon as possible. Have a good day.